Hello everyone, Shinto Bean here playing some more Warhammer combat cards, and here we are at the start of another season. This will be November of 2023, and the theme for this season's Battle Pass is Drukhari. If you look at the little image there, you can see the rewards you can unlock through the Battle Pass, which are mostly Drukhari bodyguards, but also copies of the legendary Incarn, as well as some pretty cool Drukhari-themed cosmetics. Now, of course, with the new season, there is a balance pass. And it's not a huge one, but there's some significant changes, so let's take a look at the collection and see what is changing this month. And most of the changes are to the Eldari faction. So first of all, we've got the Drukhari Scourge. This one I remember, I used to use it a lot back in the old days. It was a really powerful glass cannon, but it's sort of fallen off the edge of the map in more recent times, just being outshined by other bodyguards. But they're giving this a buff +5 to the ranged attack this season. The second change here is probably the most significant one in this entire balance pass, and that is the changing of the trait on the Spirit Seer from Warp Surge, which was a pretty weak one-time psychic attack, to Medicate, and also giving it +8 to the psychic attack. So not only is it getting its attack stats buffed, it's getting a much more useful trait, and it's becoming one of the only psychers, and I think definitely the cheapest psyker here at 10 points to receive a powerful healing trait like Medicate. So that makes this into an extremely useful card, certainly an essential card to bring along if you're running Eldrad as your warlord. Next up is the Drukhari Clawed Fiend. This is a melee berserker, not too great of a card, but it is getting an increase to its health, +15 health and +5 to its melee attack, making it pretty tanky for its cost of 22 points. Next up, Drazhar, Master of Blades. This guy is getting a slight buff, +10 health and +5 melee, making him hit quite hard, especially against targets that are 40 or more points, which there are a lot more of these days, thanks to the 300 and 400 point game modes. The other Medicate card for Eldari, which is the Drukhari Kronos Parasite Engine. This thing is getting a pretty significant buff to its stats. It did have pretty low health before, so it's getting +20 health, +3 ranged, and +3 melee, making it a pretty powerful card. Of course, Medicate is an extremely useful trait, so this one is a good one to bring along in a variety of decks. Then we got the Shining Spear Aspect Warrior. This one is a more situational card. With Melee Scout, there are not too many decks that you would want to actually run this with, but they're reducing the points by 2, down to 25 points. And then we got the Drukhari Talos Pain Engine. This one is not really very good. 48 points is pretty expensive, but just hasn't been performing very well. They're giving it a pretty significant boost to its attack, +11 ranged and +11 melee. So it is going to be hitting a little bit harder. Necrons are not receiving any changes this season. For the Tau, only one very minor change, and that is to the Recon Drone with target acquired, which is 1 point less, down to 7 points. For Servants of the Emperor, we've got the Sidonian Dragoon, which is a pretty expensive card, mid-range at 33 points, and has Melee Scout. Not really a super great card, but it is getting a significant boost of +15 to its melee attack. And then the Armiger Helverin, this thing is getting a boost to its ranged attack, +10 range to its barrage. I think this one sort of struggles to compete with a lot of other powerful ranged tanks that Servants of the Emperor have, so this one will be hitting it just a little bit harder. Next up is Space Marines. I've got this Deathwing Terminator getting a pretty significant boost to his stats, +10 health, +5 ranged, and +5 melee. And then the Nemesis Dread Knight. This thing actually used to have Big Game Hunter before it got switched to Furious Charge. Now it's getting its trait switched back to Big Game Hunter, but getting +5 to all 3 of its attack types to compensate. This one's another card that's just not really that great. It has to distribute its attack stats among the 3 types, so it doesn't really specialize too much in any single attack type, and also doesn't really have a huge amount of health for its cost. We'll see if the slight boost to its stats here makes a difference this season. For Chaos, this little regenerating cultist mutant is getting +10 health and +5 to its melee. And then Horticulus Slimix, this guy, don't really run him unless I just want to run a thematic Nurgle deck. But he's got +10 to his melee stats. Very tanky card for 24 points, and he actually hits pretty hard too. 67 at this level. And then we got the Black Legion Demon Prince. This one gets +30 to its health, giving it a bit more staying power. Moving on to Orcs, We got the knob on the Smasher Squig. This one has a Furious Charge, and it is down 1 point down to 31 points, and getting +5 to its melee attack. No changes to Tyranids this season, and Leagues of Votann are also not getting any changes during this balance pass. So that is it for the changes. Again, Eldari are getting the most significant changes, and that Spirit Seer getting Medicae is one to take particular note of. Let me know what you think of the changes, the Drukhari Battle Pass, but as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.